Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. It's Tuesday. It is the 13th of January. I'm Emily Vukovic.
And I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds. And I have to say, getting out this morning,
slap you in the face cold.
Whew, yes, I didn't want to touch my steering wheel. It was like it was made out of lava. It was so cold, it actually stung.
Oh, so cold this morning. Bundle up. Be prepared for extreme cold. We do have an extreme cold warning in place for Hamilton through Halton Hills. Let's take a look at some of these temperatures. Minus 18. It feels like minus 28 through the city of Toronto right now. Up in Orangeville, it actually feels like the low minus 30s. And in through Newmarket, minus 23 is feeling more like minus 31. So it is extremely cold.
I know. I guess the one advantage is we're going to be seeing the sunshine, but it's not going to warm you up
from
much.
Inside.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully from the indoors, because this afternoon, minus 10 in Toronto, feeling like minus 17 in Hamilton, minus 16 in Kitchener. And when we get into these types of temperatures, it's actually dangerously cold.
It is, and we do have that extreme cold warning in place for the city of Toronto. It stretches from Peterborough through Barrie, through Uxbridge, through Stratford, down towards London. It's not looking great. That's ahead in your long-range forecast, but first I'm going to turn it over to Chrissy for traffic.
Thanks so much for that, Emily. And luckily, things are moving at a good pace on the major routes, not seeing anything to slow you down. And the Gardner, but first, with that long-range forecast, are we going to see improvements, Emily?
We are, which is great news. Now, it's not going to start until, I don't know, I want to say tomorrow afternoon. We've got high pressure moving to the east, and our winds are going to shift to more of a southwesterly flow, so that is actually where we are going to be warming up. Temperatures are going to stay quite cool, but we get closer to seasonal, and then even slightly above seasonal by the time we get around to the weekend. So we're looking at minus 7 for tomorrow. By Thursday, feeling more like minus 11. As we get closer to the weekend, we're still into that sunshine, but Sunday we do have a clipper to our north, but look at Saturday's temperature. 2 degrees and sunshine. So if you like winter activities, it's a good weekend to be out. Sometimes it's so cold, it is hard to put on a happy face. Coming up in... Hi there, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. It's Tuesday. It is the 13th of January. It's freezing, and I'm Emily Vukovic.
And I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds. Now, I know both you and I are the big humidity cheerleaders.
Oh, yeah.
So days like today, not so fun.
No, not so fun, especially when we do have an extreme cold warning in place. Now, the city of Toronto, again, protected by that nice big bubble, it is not included, but we're talking Halton Hills, Mississauga.
There, you definitely want to avoid any added time outdoors.
The good news is that we've got high pressure in place. We'll see a little bit of sunshine, and then once that high pressure kind of tracks its way east, our winds are going to shift. We're going to see a southwesterly flow, which means our temperatures by the weekend, Chrissy, above the freezing mark.
It's hard. It's not good, though, when I start to celebrate, like getting above the freezing mark, you know. Little victories, though. I'll take it.
Absolutely. Now, in these last couple of days, some areas have seen it didn't start to be incredibly cold until last night. We'll talk more about the rest of the week and get you right into your weekend, but first, here's Chrissy with traffic.
Thanks so much for that, Emily. Now, luckily, your transit routes, both GO and TTC, operating on time. So if you are going to be waiting for a bus, the good news is, again, just Toronto-bound volume starting to build up. But overall, we have no problems to report, which is great news. And with the news of that impending warm-up, Emily.
Thanks, Chrissy. That's right. Watch this high. It goes to the east, and then watch these wind arrows. They switch to more of a southwesterly flow, so temperatures are really going to start to moderate throughout the rest of the week. Not a lot of active weather to talk about. That high pressure tracks east, wind shift, clipper to our north, come closer to the weekend. We might get clipped by it, just a few isolated flurries, but for the most part, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud, lots of sunshine tomorrow, minus 7. For Thursday, we're looking at minus 5. Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, and above the freezing mark, just in time for the weekend through much of the GTA.
Thanks so much for that, Emily. Around the world there in Force of Nature. Emily will have your full forecast details coming up. I do want to let you know, though, on the drive in town, Leslie and Finch, we do have a burst water main, so you can expect some delays through that area due to the closure. Older, though, so that's the good news. Could, though, cause a little bit of a visual distraction for the drive. Now, for a little bit of hopefully warmer weather in our forecast, let's head it over to Emily.
Thanks, Chrissy. Well, not today, that's for sure. Today we do have an extreme cold warning in place that stretches through London, Stratford, the city of Toronto not included, but Uxbridge up through Peterborough. We're talking Newmarket, Halton Hills, Mississauga. Everybody's in it, feeling closer to the mid-20s to the low-30s for many communities this morning. Now, this high pressure is going to protect us this afternoon. We are going to be seeing lots of sunshine, but once it tracks east, our winds are going to start to shift to more of a southwesterly direction. That is good news for those of you, and myself, that don't love the frigid cold temperatures. We are going to be warming up gradually through the week as this high pressure tracks east. Wind shift, southwesterly direction, warm up on the way. We're going to hit seasonal to slightly above, especially as we get closer to the weekend. Yeah, by Thursday, still feeling like -11, but on Saturday, a daytime high of 2 degrees is expected. Hi there. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is Tuesday. I keep thinking it's Wednesday. It's Tuesday, and it is the 12th of January. It is 13th of January. I am just not with, I'm blaming the baby. I'm Emily Vukovic.
See, there you go. You got that one. I'm Chrissy Van, in for Tom Reynolds. And to be quite honest, I don't blame you because I felt once you step out into that extreme cold this morning, you know, the brain just doesn't catch up. It's frozen as well.
All right. Well, we do have an extreme cold warning in place. Now, the city of Toronto.
So definitely, I know that I always complain about the cold when it feels this way. I know you feel the same way, but it's actually dangerously cold out there.
It is. You really need to bundle up. Think wool sweaters, layers, hats, gloves, scarf, anything to protect exposed skin because it can freeze in a very short period of time. Now, yesterday it wasn't extremely cold, but we saw some snow. Some areas got hit harder than others, but some people were dressed for it, some people were not, as you saw. Talk more about your long range. We'll get you right into the weekend in just a moment, but first, here's Chrissy.
Thanks for that, Emily. And looking at the drive, we do have a water main break, and that's around Leslie and Finch. So partner for you as well, update you on the drive in the QEW and the 401, but with more on the cold. Emily.
High pressure in place, so lots of sunshine, but bitterly cold temperatures. This high pressure is going to be tracking to our east. Our winds are going to shift to more of a southwesterly direction. That is great news for those of us that don't love this bitter cold. We are going to be seeing a warm up for the next couple of days. Not a lot of active weather to talk about, which is good news for people that don't love commuting in snow. We are going to see a clipper pass to our north for Thursday. Doesn't look like it's going to affect us, and a similar story throughout the weekend. Sunday, we could actually see some light snow with that other clipper that's going to be moving in. But look at our temperatures. Mild. We're warming up to a daytime high of 2 degrees by Saturday, above 0 for the GTA.
Thanks so much for that, Emily. Of course, active weather around the globe there in your force of nature. And Emily will have your forecast details coming up. First, the drive, though, is we do have a couple problem spots to address, which, of course, is excellent news for those that might have to wait for a bus, Emily, in this extreme cold.
Yeah, you're certainly going to want to think layers. Think wool sweaters. Think long johns. Think warm socks. It is a very, very cold start to the day. We do have an extreme cold warning in place. In through the GTA, we're looking at Halton Hills through Mississauga, through Waterloo. High pressure firmly in place, keeping our skies clear. Without that cloud cover, we don't have anything to kind of keep us warm. That blanket effect has moved on. That high pressure, however, is going to track its way east. We're going to see a shift in our winds to more of a southwesterly flow. And that is really going to help warm up our temperatures, cause them to rebound slightly. So we're actually going to be seeing more seasonal values by the time we get closer to the weekend. And we may even bump above our seasonal mark. We're still looking at cool temperatures for tomorrow, but look at Saturday and Sunday. We are going to see a daytime high of 2 degrees. And the good news about this week is that we've got lots of sunshine in the forecast. Thanks, Jacqueline. Signs behind the weather. You can catch more videos at our website, theweathernetwork.com. It is Tuesday. It is the 13th of January, and it is cold. We have an extreme cold warning in place for many areas throughout southern Ontario. Stretches from Peterborough through Uxbridge. Newmarket's included in this, as well as Barrie, in through Halton Hills, through Mississauga. Now, the city of Toronto is not in the warning, but the city municipality has issued an extreme cold alert. So it is very, very chilly today. We are going to be seeing some sunshine, however, which is great news, 10 for the next couple of hours. Now, through the overnight, it's going to be cold, and then tomorrow morning we're looking at sunshine, but much milder air pushing in with a southwesterly flow. That high pressure is going to track towards the east. We've got the blues, we've got the purples, Everybody's into it. But then look, we get lighter. You want us to go to the lighter colors, right? We want to get back into the blues, the baby blues. It'd be great if we could get to the yellow and oranges, but who are we kidding? It's not quite April yet. High pressure in place, lots of sun. There's the shift in the wind. You saw those arrows flip around to a southwesterly flow. That is what's going to bring us some warmth in the next couple of days. I say warmth, and I mean seasonal. And by the weekend, we're actually looking at above seasonal values. All right, I'm going to turn things over to Chrissy Van. She has got an update on your morning commute.
Thanks so much for that, Emily. There you go. Above seasonal values, we'll take it. Now, what you may not like is starting the Tuesday drive with some that is in good shape. Now, coming up, we'll update you on your transit routes as well. We'll have more details on the extreme colds. Thanks so much for that, Emily. Of course, a look around the world there in Force of Nature. Emily will have your full forecast details coming up. But first, a look at the drive where an in-town problem is complicating things. Some free route for you. The big problem of the day, though, is battling the extreme cold. And for more, we send it outside to a bundled up Kevin.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to do that. Thanks, Kevin. Only because it's bad for the environment, and it could get pinched in a minute. We've got an extreme cold warning in place through Peterborough, through Uxbridge, through Halton Hills, through Mississauga. It is absolutely frigid, as you saw with Kevin this morning. But the good news is that it is going to be warming up. We're going to start to see some mild air move in. High pressure moves out. Southwesterly flow moves in. We're still going to be seeing some sunshine for the remainder of the week. Not a ton of active weather to talk about, not until the weekend at least. But look at our temperatures by Saturday, bumping up to a daytime high of 2 degrees. Your locals are next. Thanks so much, Kevin. Not only is it the coldest morning of the week, it's actually the coldest morning of the season so far.
Oh, and I'll believe it. I know as we were watching, Kevin, I said to you, I just shivered.
Yes, you did.
I feel bad because I know I'm in the studio, but you feel cold looking at that.
I know. Well, here's the extreme cold warning that Kevin was mentioning. It stretches from London through Stratford. It includes, so we're going to stay pretty consistent for the next 12 to 24 hours, that's for sure. But then we do warm up in the long range. Those details just ahead. But first, Chrissy, what's going on the roads?
Well, we're still dealing with problems, Emily, due to an earlier water main break at Finch and Leslie. As a result, transit heavily impacted along the QEW, the 403. But first, the story with the cold. We'll send it to you, Emily.
Cold it is, that's for sure. We've got high pressure in place, tons of sunshine, which is great, but without that cloud cover, we're losing that kind of radiative heating effect. We're losing that kind of blanket over southern Ontario. We are going to feel the chill throughout the day today, but then see how this afternoon it is for this evening. Our winds start to shift to more of a southwesterly direction. That's good news because it's really going to help regulate our temperatures for the next couple of days. And by the weekend, not only are we going to be hitting seasonal values, we're actually going to be above our seasonal average through much of the GTA.
Thanks so much for that, Emily. And of course, Emily Vukovic will have your forecast details coming up. I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds with a look at your traffic. And we are seeing transit impacted. 427, those have cleared. I'll have details on how it's looking coming up. But first, the details on the cold with Emily.
Thanks, Chrissy. Well, we do have an extreme cold warning in place. Now, this is for a lot of the GTA, but the City of Toronto not included. Reason being, wind chills don't feel like minus 30. They need to feel like minus 30 in order to be in that. Now, it is going to be very cold this morning and even into this afternoon. We've got temperatures that are going to be quite chilly. We're going to see a lot of those purples, those blues. We're not going to get into the light blue until later on in this week, but it is coming. We've got a big push of Pacific mild air coming our way. It's not going to happen quite yet. We're chilly today, but we've got lots of sunshine in the forecast. We're going to see our wind shift to more of a southwesterly direction, which is good news for those of us that don't love the extreme cold. That trend is going to continue for the remainder of the week. We'll see lots of sunshine, and it looks as though by the weekend we're actually going to be above our seasonal average. For more on your temperatures, stay tuned for your locals. Thanks, Kevin. I thought he was going to do the experiment where you stick your tongue to a pole.
Oh, goodness, not too fun. Although I was just thinking as he showed us that, I know a lot of people that work for Canada Post, and that's a big problem. When they're on the go on the walks, their water freezes up, and their food sometimes has been frozen as well from the cold. So it'll happen.
It's not good. Okay, well, we do have an extreme cold warning in place coming up in your long-range forecast, but first I'm going to turn it over to Chrissy, who's in for Tom, for traffic.
Thanks, Emily. I'm liking the sound of that warm up. What you may not like is what I have to tell you because we still have this lingering in-town problem at Finch. Well, as the QEW coming up. But first, let's hear the news about that warm up on the way, Emily.
Well, the extreme cold warning still in place for this morning, but by the afternoon, notice how this high pressure that's bringing us sunshine, by the way, it tracks off towards our east. We're going to see a shift in our winds to more of a southwesterly direction, which means we're going to see a bit of a warm up. It's certainly not going to be 10 degrees, but we are going to start to see more seasonal values as we get closer to the weekend, and that sunshine, it's going to stick around. Clipper to our north for Thursday may drop a few light flurries on us, but it looks as though we're staying active weather-free as we get into the weekend until Sunday. But look at the daytime high on Saturday, a high of 2 degrees.
Thanks so much for that, Kevin. I'm sure there's going to be many of you turning over and hitting that snooze button. And travel may be a little bit impacted as well for you if you are going on the in-town route. QEW just seen those typical volume delays. As for how long the cold will last, well, Emily, I know you have those details.
It is going to stick around this morning, that's for sure. We've got that extreme cold warning in place throughout much of the GTA. The City of Toronto not included, but the municipality has issued its own extreme cold warning alert. Now, we are going to be seeing high pressure today, so lots of sunshine throughout the GTA. That's something we haven't seen for quite a while, at least lots of it. And then that high is going to track its way east. We're going to switch gears when our winds move to more of a southwesterly direction, which means our temperatures are going to be warming up nicely as we get closer to the weekend. By Saturday, we're looking at a daytime high of 2 degrees.
Thanks so much for that, Kevin. Yes, I'm definitely appreciating being on the indoors today, but if you are traveling outdoors and on the roads, well, in full effect. As for how the effect of this extreme cold will be impacting us through the week, Emily, you have those details.
Extreme cold warning is still in place for this morning. I'm expecting this to be dropped in the next couple of hours as our temperatures warm up. The sun's going to come out. Winds are going to shift as that high pressure tracks east, which is good news. Not great news, but we want the sunshine, right? Okay, so here's that southwesterly flow kicking in through the overnight and throughout the day tomorrow. It's still going to be cold, but not as cold. Wednesday evening, still relatively chilly, but by Thursday, we're really going to start to feel the warm-up temperatures by the weekend, while we're looking at a daytime high on Saturday of 2 degrees.
Heard by his side of the studio.
If I was eating breakfast, I would have lost my appetite right there.
Yeah.
Pigeons are yucky.
I know. I actually was thinking I have a girlfriend, Brooke, who's terrified of birds, so she would have been.
Yeah. Ooh, no thanks. Okay, well, it's cold today. I think that's the point that Kevin was trying to make. It is very cold today. Temperatures, even this afternoon, are going to stay quite cold, but we do warm up by the weekend.
Oh, and I'm excited for that. I know you and me both are, because we're both humidity fans.
Oh, yeah.
That's not coming around for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Summer can't come fast enough, that's for sure. More details on that. And I'll have a detailed forecast for your weekend in just a moment. But first, here's Christy with traffic.
Thanks for that, Emily. And one of your in-town roads has been looking more like a scene from Frozen, and that's at Leslie and Finch as well. Take a look at any transit delays. But first off, with the cold and the warm-up, Emily.
Thanks, Chrissy. Well, we do have the extreme cold warning in place through Kitchener, through Waterloo, through Halton Hills, through Mississauga, up through Newmarket and Uxbridge. City of Toronto protected by a bubble, but still, the municipality has issued a cold weather alert for the city, so bundle up. You are not an exception. High pressure in place. We're going to be seeing lots of sunshine, but then our winds are going to start to shift to a southwesterly flow, which means our temperatures are going to start to warm up. We're certainly not going to be balmy, but we're going to be better than we have been. That's for sure. High pressure tracks east, a mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday, Thursday into Friday. And take a look at some of these temperatures. By Saturday, getting up to a daytime high of 2 degrees. Sunday, a daytime high of 0 with some light snow.
Thanks for that, Emily. Emily Vukovic will have your full forecast details coming up. But looking at the drive, well, we do have a frozen scene on Leslie delay. As for how long the extreme cold is sticking around, though, Emily, you have those details.
Thanks, Chrissy. Well, it is certainly a cold morning. It's actually the coldest morning of the season so far. We have extreme cold warning throughout Kitchener, through Waterloo, through Mississauga, through Halton Hills, through Uxbridge, through Newmarket. Not for the City of Toronto, but the City of Toronto has issued a extreme cold weather alert, and that's the third time in 1 week for the city. So it has been very cold. We are seeing high pressure keeping us quite sunny and bright, but temperatures are going to be frigid today. Into tomorrow, we'll start to see a little bit of a warm up. For temperature details, check in with your locals. They're coming up next. So for those of us that let our vehicle warm up for 10 to 15 minutes, not necessary?
No, I guess not. Another thing I want to mention with that, though, is that we need to think, I know we're all worried about ourselves bundled up, but with pets, it's good to knock on the hood of the car as well, because some of them might be taking refuge in that warmed up vehicle, and that's not a good recipe.
You're talking cats, not squirrels, right?
Yes, yes. Although I have like these pet squirrels that we've been leaving peanuts at. Well, they're not pets. I guess that sounded
They
really
come in at night, don't they? They come in at night.
We've been leaving peanuts out for them. They're like new friends for my cats. They've been just taunting them like no tomorrow.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, and you know what? In like weather like this, it's even if it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your pet. So don't walk your dog today if you can help it. That's for sure. Play inside if you can. We do have an extreme cold warning in place. Yeah, don't play with your squirrels inside or outside today, Chrissy. And I'm going to have all those details coming up in just a moment. But first, here's Chrissy with traffic.
Thanks for that, Emily. Oh, goodness me. Yeah, so pet cats, I don't have pet squirrels. For the record, now looking at the drive, 401 is shaping up for how long that cold is going to last, Emily. You have those details.
It will last for today, and that's pretty much it. I mean, we are going to be below seasonal for the next few days, but the extreme cold with the wind chills into the -20s and -30s, that's going to be moving out with this high pressure. Not to say that the high pressure is going to take away all our sunshine, because it's not. We're going to see a mix of sun and cloud for the next couple of days throughout the lower Great Lakes, but temperatures will start to moderate, which is going to be nice for people that don't love the extreme cold. Not a lot of active weather to talk about. By Saturday, we're looking at a daytime high of 2 degrees.
Thanks, Kevin. Good advice there. If you are traveling in town around Leslie, just the leftover delays from the rush, I'll have those details coming up. But first, the details on the colds.
Extreme cold warning in place for much of southern Ontario. City of Toronto not included, but the municipality has issued its own extreme cold weather alert. Third time in a week. It's cold. Wind chills feeling more like the -30s in some areas. We are going to warm up by the end of the week. As we get closer to the weekend, temperatures are actually going to be feeling above the freezing mark. Stay tuned. Your local details are coming right up.
Well, things looking fairly good. They're starting to ease up on the major routes, and I'm sure many of you that have been stuck in the delays have been having the heat fully cranked. Do our East Line with GO Transit. Those are improving. And for details on how long this cold is going to last, well, Emily, I know you have those details.
Extreme cold warning still in place through London, through Stratford, not for the City of Toronto, but the City of Toronto municipality has issued a cold weather alert. It stretches up through Barrie. Places like Newmarket and in through Uxbridge are dealing with this. Now, we are going to be seeing high pressure, so we are going to see lots of sunshine, but temperatures will be cold today. They are going to warm up throughout the day tomorrow, slightly, and then by the end of the week, we're actually going to be seeing temperatures above the freezing mark on Saturday.
Water bottle. Can you stay right there? Sure. I'm going to show you what happens when you leave water outside for an hour. Just stay right there. Look at that. It's ice.
Yes.
Yes.
It's ice.
It's turned to ice back inside of the studio. It is ice. Look at that.
It's cold.
Kevin, you need to be better prepared next time. That was hilarious.
Just stand in the frigid conditions for one moment.
That was awesome. Thanks, Kevin. Okay, it is so cold. I've gotten some interesting tweets today. Somebody actually tweeted me and said it is cold, so cold that when you walk outside, your nose hairs freeze together.
Oh, yeah, no, it was awful.
Yep. Or your tears, they freeze too.
None.
Somebody said that, true forecasting is when the wind asks you for a pair of mitts.
Yeah, there you go. And I'm sure it's calling out for that. Mitts, hats, everything else that you can stuff underneath your clothing. Good idea.
Be warm. We have an extreme cold warning in place, -20s. We are going to be seeing a warm up. I'll talk more about that in your long range. But first, Chrissy, what's going on the roads?
Well, I will let you know, Emily, we do have a problem on transit on the Lakeshore East Line for GO Transit. So I do want to mention as well, Emily, that we are seeing some squall activity through Grimsby, so be cautious. Could make for some slick conditions.
Right, well, this high pressure in place is going to be giving us lots of sunshine throughout the day today, but keeping us quite cold. Without the cloud cover, we lose that kind of blanket effect. Where our winds are going to shift to more of a southwesterly flow, which means temperatures are going to be bumping up over the next couple of days. Not a lot of active weather to talk about. We've got a couple of clipper systems to our north, not giving us much of anything. Thursday, maybe a few flurries, depending on where you are. By Saturday, we are actually going to be above our freezing mark, but it's certainly not going to be a January thaw. Sunday, we do have another weak system coming through, could give us some light snow, but temperatures remaining mild, seeing a daytime high of 0.
Thanks, Emily. And Emily Vukovic will be coming up with full forecast details. I'm Chrissy Van in for Tom Reynolds. We do have a couple of lingering problem spots. There has been reports of some snow squall activity, and that has been making things messy out on the roads. But otherwise, this is your last look at live traffic. Here's Emily with your forecast.
Thanks, Chrissy. Well, it is going to stay very cold today. We've got high pressure in place, so we're going to be seeing lots of sunshine, which is great news, but temperatures are still going to be well below seasonal, and the wind is going to be bitterly cold. Now, this high pressure is really going to start to track towards the east. We're going to see our winds start to shift to more of a southwesterly direction, trough to our north, not bringing us any active weather. What we're going to see with those southwesterly winds is temperatures actually warming up over the next couple of days. Now, tomorrow is still going to be quite cold. We're looking at daytime highs around -7, feeling like -11. Still going to be cold for Thursday, but as we get closer to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, things really start to look amazing. Now, if you've got ski plans this weekend, if you're going boarding, snowshoeing, if you're heading anywhere up north, these conditions are going to be perfect for you, because if it's 2 degrees in the city, it's certainly going to be a little bit milder further north up through cottage country as well. 2 degrees for Saturday in Hamilton and in through the Oshawa area, seeing a daytime high of 3. Hi there, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is Tuesday, it is the 13th of January, and it is freezing. Coldest morning so far of the season. We decided to be really nice to Kevin Yard and throw him out in the elements. It is very cold out there, Kevin. Does the air actually hurt your face today? All right, thanks so much, Kevin. And it's true, you really don't, because it's bad for the environment. It's not safe, just in case someone was to come and think that they could take your car away from you. Be cautious. Now, out on the roads, these last couple of days haven't been great. Temperature's pretty much staying the same, but we do have a thaw on the way. And when I say thaw, we're not getting up to 10 degrees, but we're actually going to get above the freezing mark by the weekend, and I'll show you that in just a moment. This high pressure is going to start to track its way east. We're going to see a southwesterly flow, which means temperatures warming up. We'll get a little bit of warm air from the U.S. We've got a bit of a Pacific flow as well, which always helps us out. We are going to be seeing a mix of sun and cloud for the next few days throughout much of the GTA, which is good news. We haven't seen a lot of sunshine lately. And we've got a low to our north by Thursday. It's not going to do anything. It's just a clipper coming from across the prairies. What we may see a little bit of snow is coming in on Sunday, potentially. Again, it's going to be another clipper, so not a lot of accumulation with this. It's a pretty fast mover. But look at these temperatures. Saturday, above our seasonal average. We're going to see a daytime high of 2. Sunday, seeing a daytime high of 0. Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on the Weather Network. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is certainly a cold start to the day. We'll talk about temperatures and we'll talk about wind chills coming up. But first, it is all about hockey. Let's join Michelle Mackey. That's incredible. And you know what? I'm a girl. I hang out with boys and play hockey. They smell. It's true. It's just what it is. Today is going to be sunny, but it's going to be cold. So today and into tomorrow, we're still going to be seeing these blues and these purples. This is a good reflection of temperature and wind chills. It is cold. Winds start to shift to more of a southwesterly direction, which is good news. We'll start to get into lighter purples throughout the day tomorrow. But our big warm up is really going to be coming by the weekend. Now, I should not say it's a warm up. I'm going to say kind of a little bit of a thaw. That is when temperatures are going to hit more seasonal values and maybe even above. Southwesterly winds move in through the GTA. We are going to be seeing a little bit of sunshine for the next couple of days as well. High pressure tracks to the east. There's those southwesterly winds. We've got a clipper to our north on Thursday, and we also have a clipper to our north by the end of the weekend, but it doesn't look as though it's really going to be affecting us. Could give us a few isolated flurries throughout the day on Sunday, but look at the temperature, 0, mild with snow. Until then, it is still going to be quite cool. Friday, we bump up to -1. Saturday, we actually get above the freezing mark, 2 degrees. It'll still feel like -5, and then on Sunday, that's where we get that little bit of active weather, and it could come a little bit sooner for you in Oshawa on Saturday, a daytime high of 3. Joining us, meteorologist Dr. Doug Gillum. It has been so frigid for the last little while throughout southern Ontario. Are we going to see a warm up at all?
The pattern is slowly backing off.
Okay.
We're no longer going to see the Siberian air as we go into next week, but still a lot of winter weather ahead. Below seasonal temperatures right through Friday in the GTA. We do have milder weather to our west. It's trying to make progress, but it keeps getting interrupted.
All right, well, it's our cold air that's interrupting it.
Right.
But by the weekend, I mean, I like to see the term milder. I mean, if people are heading up to ski country, there's still going to be lots of snow on the hills, but the cold air is just not going to be hurting their skin as much.
That's right. This is not a true January thaw. Up in ski country, temperatures stay at or below zero. In the GTA, we do go above zero on Saturday, but there's going to be a brisk wind, lots of clouds, so it's really not going to feel great. Just better.
Okay.
Sunday morning, temperatures are above zero, but a cool front passes through. And this isn't going to bring Siberian or Arctic air, but returns temperatures back to seasonal, even a few snow showers Sunday into Sunday night. And so Monday, near seasonal, which certainly beats minus 20.
Absolutely, with a wind chill of minus 30.
Right.
Yeah.
And then a clipper system could bring us maybe a couple centimeters of snow Monday night into Tuesday. Now, a little bit hesitant to show this. Certainly looks encouraging.
He actually said he was a little bit hesitant. He said, you know, I'm kind of scared to show this map, but I like it.
It says milder, not to be confused with mild. This is not a true thaw. We're just not going to be dealing with the lake effect snow and the minus 20-degree temperatures, but there still could be some winter weather next week, just not as painful as this week.
Okay.
And then it turns painful again as we wrap up the month of January.
See what he does here? He gives us all that good news and then bad news.
A lot of signs that the month ends as it began, with well below seasonal temperatures that continues into early February.
All right, so that Siberian air, it will make a comeback. Meteorologist Jacqueline Whittle, thanks for that. We have more videos on Science Behind the Weather on our website. Check them out at weathernetwork.com. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is Tuesday. It's the 13th of January, and it is freezing. Now, temperatures have really cooled down since yesterday. Yesterday, sure, is going to give us lots of sunshine, but it's also going to keep the cold sticking around. It will track its way east, and then our winds are going to start to shift to more of a southwesterly direction, and that is going to really help warm up our air for the next couple of days. Now, we don't have a lot of active weather to talk about, which is good news. We're going to be seeing a mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday and into Thursday. We do have a clipper to our north for Thursday. Doesn't look like it's really going to be affecting much of southern Ontario. As we get closer to the weekend, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we've got a mix of sun and cloud. There's that clipper that I was just mentioning. We do have a clipper moving in throughout the day on Sunday as well. That could give us some light snow, but for the most part, we're just going to be seeing a mix of sun and cloud, and temperatures getting milder as the week goes on. By Saturday, we're going to see a daytime high of 2 in Hamilton. Thanks, Chrissy. For more cold winter tips, you can always head to our website, theweathernetwork.com. I'm Emily Vukovic. It is a very cold Tuesday. It is January the 13th. And because we adore Kevin Yard, we decided to throw him out in the elements so he could actually feel what this cold feels like on his face. He's bundled up everywhere else, but Kevin, how does that wind feel on your skin? All right, thanks so much, Kevin. Yeah, the 6-minute commute walking, that's good. I would be running it and trying to cut it in half on a day like today. Okay, we are going to see some sunshine today. We've got high pressure in place. We're looking at minus 10. More sunshine, and temperatures are actually going to start to rebound slightly. High pressure is going to track to the east. Our winds are going to shift to more of a southwesterly direction, which means we're going to see a warm up in temperatures. We've got a Pacific flow coming in. We've got a southwesterly flow coming in. This is all bearing good news for the remainder of the week. Not a lot of active weather to talk about. We're going to see a mix of sun and cloud for Wednesday into Thursday. A clipper to our north. It's not going to affect us throughout the lower Great Lakes. More high pressure, but more of that southerly flow, which is what we like, getting us closer to the weekend. So if you've got outdoor activities planned this weekend, if you're planning on taking the kids skiing, if you're heading up to cottage country, conditions are going to be fantastic. There's still going to be enough cold air to keep the snow on the slopes. But look at that, Saturday, 2 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud. And then on Sunday, we could see a little bit of snow from a clipper moving through with a daytime high of 0.
One truck containing fireworks exploded, providing a stunning but terrifying display.
What are the chances? Like, really, what are the chances that the truck's carrying fireworks? Incredible. Thanks, Cam. If you want to check out more videos like that one, Around the World in 60 Seconds, just head to our website, theweathernetwork.com. I'm Emily Vukovic. It's Tuesday. It is the 13th of January, and it is the coldest day so far this season. Temperatures are frigid throughout the day today. We are going to be seeing temperatures into the minus teens, but feeling more like the minus 20s throughout the afternoon and in through the evening. Yes, we do start to warm up because we've got this southerly flow, more of a southwesterly flow, but that's good news for those of us that just cannot handle the extreme cold cold temperatures. High pressure in place, giving us lots of sunshine. Temperatures will warm up for the next couple of days. Trough to our north through the overnight tomorrow morning, not doing anything to the GTA. We are going to continue to see a mix of sun and cloud for the next couple of days, and temperatures will start to get closer to our seasonal value. We should be at around -2, -3 for this time of year. Yeah, we're nowhere near that today. We're -7 by tomorrow. Feeling like -7, which is good news. It'll feel like -11 on Thursday, but then Friday and Saturday, look at the big warm up. By Saturday, 2 degrees. Sunday could see some light snow, but a daytime hovering around the freezing mark.
Oh boy, thanks to Kim for that. My name is Kasia Bedurk. I'm in for Cheryl Plouffe.
Let's take a look at our developing stories. Yes, high pressure is taking over for some. We'll get to that at the end of the segment.
Those details, and we take you to beautiful Rock Harbor, Newfoundland.